So, hello everyone. Welcome to the second annual Global Goddess Fest, uniting female leaders, entrepreneurs, and creatives worldwide. I'm so excited. We have a beautiful guest here. Um, Danna is here, and she is a storyteller, yoga teacher, and creative producer. And we just really recently connected, and it was like, all right, let's do this thing. Let's jump in. So just so excited to have you here. And I wanted to just share a little bit that for the viewers that you've been leading your own program discussing women's rights or lack of rights in the Arab region and have been living over there for the last 10 years. So that's the perspective that you're going to be sharing with us. So super grateful to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm grateful to be here.
And I know you wanted to start off with a meditation for all of us before we even dive in. So let's just go ahead and go right into that.
I would like to start this interview with a intention meditation. So please place both your feet onto the earth. Sit up straight or stand up straight with the crown of your head reaching the sky. Press your palms at heart center and take one deep inhale. Open mouth, exhale. Close your eyes. I would like to set the intention for all the viewers to hear us with open hearts and open minds, for our voices to be supported, for us to support one another, and for any woman out there who needs empowerment or encouragement to hopefully be encouraged and empowered through this initiative. I set the intention for this festival to reach far and wide, to lift many who need lifting, and for us to collaborate somehow with one another to empower one another through this. So please take one deep inhale, and let's seal this intention with our exhale. Open your eyes. Thank you so much for making me part of this. It really means a lot to me because I believe that since we make up half societies around the world, you can't have a powerful society or a complete society when half of it is, or half the people are weakened, abused, or silenced. So part of my mission in life is to empower people through empowering the women in different communities. So do you want me to just go ahead and...
Yeah, I would love for you to just kind of go into your story and share a little bit, about where you're at now.
I worked with AJ Plus on a series that talked about mothers' rights in the Arab region. It started out as a campaign that I created for mothers, and the managing director of AJ Plus heard about it, Dima, and called me in to meet with her. She fell in love with the idea and hired me on the spot and asked to turn it into a series. That was a very important moment in my life because it showed me firsthand how empowering it is for another woman to extend her support to lift another woman. And she even said to me that day that she wants to empower women who can empower other women, and that she feels that's part of her mission. And I love her forever for this experience. I really appreciate her. I just moved back to San Diego in July. My father wasn't feeling well, and he passed away in September. And decided to stay here and be part of the community in San Diego. I was born in San Diego. I lived here until I was 15 years old. My mother divorced my father when I was 15 and took us back to Jordan to be with her family. When I was 17 years old, she decided to remarry, and when women remarry in our culture, they usually, if not always, have to give up the children to the ex-husband or just give them away to give full attention to the new husband because he's the priority to women in those cultures. And so my mother married me off when I was 18 to the guy I was speaking to at the time, my ex-husband. I got pregnant right away and had my son when I was 19 years old. And it was a very abusive relationship that I did not want to stay in and tried to leave multiple times. But every time I wanted to leave, I was encouraged to stay and keep the family together for my son's sake. Finally, when I was 22, I decided I didn't want to stay in an abusive relationship. I knew I deserved better. And so I divorced him without telling my family that I was going to, or his. I just, with the help of the police, got him out of the house and maintained the life that we were living back then. This is absolutely unheard of in the Arab region. Women usually are the ones to leave and go to their families and not given the right to divorce unless they have a valid reason to divorce their husband. And if they don't, they have to give up all their rights just to be able to divorce their husbands. And so I was lucky to be living in Chicago at the time. Both of us were in Chicago and have the law that supported me through the process. A few years later, he invited us to visit Jordan so that my son can be with family. And we went on around Christmas time of 2008. And when I decided to go back to the United States to continue, our lives, school, work, everything, I was told that my son has a ban from leaving Jordan, that the fathers have full right to put a ban on their kids from leaving. Even if I was still married, I would still need written permission from my husband to take my son out of the country. And so I was stuck in a country that I did not want to live in, with people who were continuously telling me to give up my son to his father and go remarry and live my life, with a mother that kept telling me that I'm going to grow old and ugly and nobody's going to want me, so I should just marry whoever comes my way, whoever wants me, because I'm very lucky to even have someone want me when I'm divorced and have a kid. And everything everyone was saying just didn't feel right. And so I started speaking against everything that they said and against the culture and traditions, and eventually disowned by my mother and her family for being very loud and outspoken. And obviously it's not encouraged in all societies. I think I haven't really lived in a society where women were supported and encouraged to speak up. Maybe encouraged by one another, but we've seen plenty of examples of how women are silenced and shamed for speaking up, even here in the United States. And then when my son was 9, his father had every right to take him from me, and without even needing a court order, he was able to take my son. At the time, I had sacrificed everything to live in Jordan, and I felt like I was going to lose my mind when my son was no longer in my custody. I felt like I needed to leave, and I did. I moved to Lebanon, which was 6 hours drive outside of Jordan, so that I could continue to see him regularly on weekends, but at the same time live in a more liberal country, which Lebanon is, and have the freedom to do the things that I wasn't able to do in Jordan, like focus on my career and make new friends and meet new people. I started writing, I started traveling. All the pain that I was carrying led to my path in spirituality and healing, because I really needed healing. And that led to many trips around the world, including India, to find more spirituality and more healing and meditation. And so I took my pain, and the pain pushed me to finding different ways of helping myself and continued to speak about these issues. Although what I had been through, I kind of tucked it inside for a while and wasn't really talking about how hurt I was in this new community I was living in Lebanon. A couple of years later, I got a job offer in Qatar. And so I moved there and worked for Ogilvy as a copywriter. And after 5 years of fighting and doing everything possible to get my son out of Jordan, I was finally able to get him out of Jordan and with me in Qatar. And I remember walking into the house and him sitting in the living room unpacking his suitcase, and me just looking at him like, I can't believe this is finally happening, you know? My son is here. He's with me. He's finally home. I'm home. And I always assumed that at that moment I would rage. I would post something on social media announcing how I won this battle, how I did what I wanted. I got my son out, but I felt no aggression. I just felt motherly. I felt humbled. I felt grateful. I just wanted to watch him unpack his suitcase. And I felt like finally I got to rest. I felt like I was carrying baggage for all those years, like really heavy weight, that I was finally able to kind of set down. And the next morning, I woke up at 5 and I had this urge inside where my one mission after that, after getting my son back, I went to my laptop and I posted something on social media saying that if you know of any mother who has been through any custody battles or any divorce issues, please connect us, because I'm going to create a campaign that discusses mothers' rights in the region. And I had a flood of emails and private messages, and so many different people connected with me, and amazing mothers, mainly scared mothers, to be honest. And that's when I met the managing director, and that's when I was offered to turn my idea into a series. And even when I was working with AJ Plus, the first year I just had to research the different laws in every country. And even in countries like Lebanon, you have 18 different courthouses, and you never go to your courthouse or your religious courthouse. You go to your ex-husband's or husband's courthouse. So it's just a lot of details and a lot of obstacles that they put up for women, and make things really easy for men. Honestly, that's like my conclusion from all the research that I did. And a lot of my own team members didn't understand what I was doing, and weren't the males didn't all approve of what I was doing, and even my friends, my guy friends, were not very pleased with my work. Some were very encouraging, and they wanted to push me to get it done. And obviously, my managing director and even my manager were encouraging, but a lot of people did not feel the same way. And yet we went through with it, and we continued to walk forward, which was not easy. And now here I am in San Diego, trying to create something similar for all the wonderful women around me here in the community here. So again, thank you so much for having me as part of this. I'm very happy to be here and play a role in this initiative. Thank you.
I really feel that importance to just be able to share your story is so much, to be able to just speak up and to be heard. It's incredible, the work that you're doing and the courage, oh my gosh, that you have taken on. And I love how you were talking about, it's not this like, oh, I'm going to do a big post and like preach about. It's so much more delicate and like feminine, in terms of like, no, we just want to be heard. We want the stories to be understood. We want, you know, our voices to be shared, and to know that we're really not alone, because I think so many women
Yes.
feel so alone in whatever initiative that they're trying to do and create. And so I just like thank you for doing what you're doing, for speaking up, for like standing boldly in your power with such compassion, because I think that's the new really delicate fine line that we're all jumping on and trying to
Mm-hmm.
understand is like we're not trying to do another like feminist revolution. We're
Mm-hmm.
not trying to push away all the men, but we want unity. And so
Yes,
to create that sort of unity, things will need to be changing. Um,
absolutely.
yeah. So thank you so much for sharing your story. And I just think it was so, so powerful for everyone to hear. She'll be giving a free meditation. Like I said, I mean, beautiful meditation to begin with. So
Thank you.
if you would like another meditation to just take with you throughout your days, there'll be a link below, a free gift for all of you for joining this initiative of the Global Goddess Fest. So did you have any last words for anyone that's watching?
I would just like to say to all the women out there to keep speaking up, sharing your stories. Sharing your story is the first step to creating change. It might not seem that way, but or feel that way, but it is. And listen to your heart and your intuition and keep moving forward no matter how many obstacles you face. It's just it's not easy to create change, but it is we are all able to do it. One of my favorite quotes is whoever said you cannot change the world has never tried. And I've been saying it for so long now that it is my main focus is to create positive change and a positive impact in the community that I'm in or a part of. I would love to meet all of you and collaborate. I would love to invite you to my women's gatherings, which I'm going to start this spring. And I just want to thank you for listening to my story. And I hope that it empowers some women out there and encourages you to do what you feel you need to do in this world. Well, men and women. I'm sorry to exclude. I don't mean to exclude men, but I believe it's the global goddess. So I'm speaking to the wonderful sisters that are listening right now.
Well, thank you so much for coming, sharing your story. Thank you to all the viewers for being here. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the Global Goddess Fest.